Fascinating to watch. What Peter Schrager, your thoughts?
Fascinating to watch that man in that corner waiting on a player. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for years they had a mantra: we don't even talk about free agents. Like, we don't even put that word out there. And players would run to coach and run to play for them. That they've been put in this decision, they've kind of signed up for this. This is the dance they chose to dance, and that's because they didn't go heavy after Justin Fields. They didn't throw a ton of money at him. They could have probably really made a push there. They didn't even entertain Russell Wilson. Now you're in this situation, you're waiting on a 41-year-old player who last year missed the playoffs and really his team underwhelmed in grand fashion, as I know my colleague here knows, and can talk about that at length. But you're now in April. The truth of the matter is they were never going to dictate Aaron Rodgers' timeline. He still has the leverage on them because he can just say, you know what, I'm good, I'm going to retire. And they're waiting on him. So this is very uncomfortable for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to see Mr. Rooney in that situation, standing there being like, that is uncomfortable for us as the media, because we've never seen that, Dan.
Yeah, you can sort of see under his expression, like, yeah, I'm not really happy about this, but my GM and my coach are telling me it's going to be okay, so I'm going to listen to them, and we'll wait as long as we need to. But, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Look, you miss on Kenny Pickett in the first round, and it sets you back. They are now in a situation where they do not have quarterback figured out. They don't know when they're going to have quarterback figured out. Even if it's Aaron Rodgers, it's a one-year Band-Aid, right? So you're going to have to draft somebody and hope to get it right this time. But, I mean, look, interesting to talk about price, right? Like last year, we were lauding the Steelers for these bargain deals they got on Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And I remember sitting here saying, you know, a year from now, they could be looking at neither one of these guys was the answer, and they got to go do this all over again. If we're going to call the Dallas Cowboys cheap, I think we have to point out that the Pittsburgh Steelers are kind of trying to go cheap at the most important position. They could have outbid the Jets for Justin Fields. That wasn't a crazy contract. So, yeah, I think they're trying to find bargains in a situation where that doesn't tend to pay off.
So I believe they have put themselves in a position where there's no other alternative. Yeah. When you look at the quarterback position, right? And the thing that's kind of enticing about Aaron Rodgers, you look at him going into year 21. He's only had 4 seasons where he's thrown double-digit interceptions. Now, 2 of those seasons happen to be the last 2 full seasons that he's played. But at the same time, life after Big Ben has not been peaches and cream for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, most certainly not. What should I read into? You're a receiver. What should I read into the fact that he and DK got together in L.A.?
Well, you don't just mysteriously, hey, DK Metcalf, out of all the people that happens to be in L.A., hey, DK, let's go throw. Let's have it film. I don't know who was filming, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't just a bystander.
And just the 2 of them. Usually, usually you'll get like 6 college guys out there, and you'll have a couple of them. No, it's just the 2 of them.
Are you suggesting that Aaron Rodgers did something for performative reasons? Like looking for attention?
Well, I would say this. It's a good sign if you're the Rooney family that these 2 are actually working out together. Because if you're Mr. Rooney, you want Aaron Rodgers to be your next quarterback.
Yeah, and we'll see what their future looks like. And with an eye on that, today's a good day for me because there's a new mock draft out. Young Fielding, Field Yates, has his mock draft 4.0. And if we look a ways down in it, you would see the Steelers taking a quarterback, number 21, Jackson Dart. At the top, as many others do, he has Cam Ward going number 1 to the Titans and Shedeur Sanders 3 to the Giants. This I find particularly interesting, and let's bring Field into this conversation here. Field, talk to me about Shedeur going 3 to the Giants. They've made the moves that we've seen, Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson. They have Tommy DeVito there. What's the thinking behind putting Shedeur at 3 to the Giants?
Yeah, we were just talking about this, Greeny, how the Pittsburgh Steelers last year added a couple of quarterbacks, and here they are, and it's already April, and they have no plan for 2025. So Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston both signed contracts that are certainly not reflective of guys that are sure bets to be your quarterback for maybe even a full season this year. And as a team, you don't plan on picking number 3 overall year in and year out. You can be just bad enough to be far enough removed from number 1 in the draft that you might miss out on a top quarterback prospect. The Giants learned that last year when they were at number 6 overall and tried to make a trade with the Patriots to get to number 3 overall, and the Patriots said, no, this Drake May guy is too good to bypass. So if the Giants are convicted on Shedeur Sanders, nothing they have done up to this point this offseason should hold them back from taking a player who could give them a chance to have a quarterback that could be theirs for the next decade. And I know that there are a lot of opinions on Shedeur Sanders. Mine as well stated. He's 16th overall on the big board. Let me just say this. We're in this era now where we're starting to see the haves and the have-nots with quarterback development. We have seen a lot of teams that have drafted quarterbacks high, done virtually nothing with them, and all of a sudden the second act of their career has become brilliant. Sam Darnold last season, who's now going to make a lot of money from the Seahawks. Baker Mayfield, we've seen Geno Smith in a much later phase of his career become a quality starter. I'd like to see some of these teams show that they have the goods to make these players, who may be imperfect, quality starters at the NFL level.
Do you believe the Giants will take Shedeur Sanders at 3?
I believe it's too soon to even say that. I know there's just 20 couple days left here, but Field Yates is right there. They haven't had their pro day yet. The Giants have not had a private workout with Shedeur
It's this week, right? To be clear, it's this week?
Friday.
Right, yep.
They're going to have it, and it's one of the later pro days I could ever imagine, having it all the way on April 4th. But for anyone speculating that, like, it's right now the decision, it's still time to go. So do I believe they can take him? If they meet with him, if they have the private workout, they've seen him play, of course, and they've spoken to him at Colorado. But, like, if they fall in love with him, yeah, you can take him.
Yeah.
Sure, you could take him.
What were they saying at the owners' meetings? You were just
Feels
there.
like Joe Shane, Brian Daboll, when they talk about this, are trying to sort of prepare the fan base for the possibility that they don't go quarterback at number 3. Because, I mean, to Peter's point, that it may be undecided, but it's also not a slam dunk, right? They're not so sold on whoever the option, whether it's Shedeur Sanders, whoever the option is going to be there at 3, that it's like they don't have to worry about it. We're definitely going to do it. So Travis Hunter or Jalen Carter, who are viewed as
Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter, yeah.
Did I say Jalen Carter? If Jalen Carter,
that would be nice.
they
They should take him,
Abdul Carter viewed as franchise-changing players, and if you don't think that the quarterbacks available to you at 3 are, then maybe it makes more sense to wait and do it later. Get a Travis Hunter and be thrilled about that for the next decade.
So, Grinny, for me, it's simple. And Phil used the word conviction. I'm going to use the word that Peter loved. If the Giants organization fall in love with Shedeur Sanders, you draft him at number 3. Otherwise, you draft Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, whichever one is available.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of people that are saying, hey, it's April 2nd. Obviously, the Giants don't love Shedeur Sanders because we know about it by now, right? Well, Peter mentioned the pro day, which is on Friday. I'll be there in Boulder, Colorado, which that could be a point in which the Giants fall in love. Also, while there are years in which you know who you love from the minute the guy declares for the draft, I'm just telling you, there are teams who have fallen in love with the player and then unfallen in love with that player and then fallen back in love with that player during the month of the draft. Stuff happens. I am always reminded of the 2021 NFL draft when the 49ers traded up to number 3 overall. We all thought Mac Jones is going to San Francisco. Well, he made it to San Francisco just 4 years later after stops in New England and also this past season in Jacksonville. Things can change even with just a few sort of relative hours left on the clock until April 24th.
Exactly. And while there are no hard, fast rules in anything, I would say if you change your mind 4 times about a player during a period of time in which he hasn't played a single game, you're probably getting the process wrong. Coming up, what a night in the NBA. 2 MVPs with unprecedented performances.